We all know and have heard about how if you become involved with a Thai woman, you not only support the Thai woman, but also the Thai family, the extended family, and every member of the village. While that's a joke in some cases, it's not in others. There are other people who seriously will take a Westerner for every penny he has if he lets them. So, one of the things I've kind of come up with after talking to a lot of Thai people, a lot of Western people, a lot of people in relationships, and see how they dealt with it, there's three options that you have to kind of bring things under control. Um, so many people think that when they accept a relationship with a Thai woman, they just either they agree with whatever they ask for or they are in jeopardy of losing their relationship. If that's the case, so be it. You can't live your life constantly chasing someone else's desires because, and one of the things, it's a little windy today, so if it starts blowing, you'll know why. But one of the things that it's notorious is what poor savers Thai people are. If you married a Thai woman and you gave her family, $10,000 a month is $120,000 a year. Very gracious of you, it would be. But I guarantee you, at the end of the year, something happens and somebody has to go to the hospital, or a roof needs to be fixed, or a car engine blows up, anything like that, they're not going to have money for it. And they're going to come to you for additional help. So you always have to remember that. And when I say this, I don't mean to sound like every family. This is the picture of every family. So the three ways that I've thought of to get the the whole process under control. The first thing is it's not about what they need, it's about what you can afford to give. If you meet a woman who you're seriously leading towards marriage with, do so very slowly, very carefully. In Thailand, in the Philippines, in a lot of places in Southeast Asia, there's a lot going for very, very, very long engagements. You gain nothing by getting married, but you can lose a huge amount of money. So, first thing is, you shouldn't be supporting her parents in any way until you would get married. So if you're dating, living together, anything like that, you don't owe anybody anything, and you shouldn't. Because once you start giving them money, and this is the same with the Thai woman, and what I always say in the videos, if you start giving money to a Thai woman and start that, them seeing you as a source of money when they need it, it's never going to stop. And you're constantly going to be, it just drives you nuts. And I can only imagine what it would be having a Thai woman and a Thai family coming to you all the time. Hey, I need this, and hey, I need that. So it stops. And I mean, you have to make this like there's a line in the sand you will not cross. You're not giving your in-laws or future in-laws any money until the day you would get married. Once you're in the family, then it becomes your obligation too. Until that point, it's your girlfriend's obligation, not yours. And that sounds heartless, but it's really easy to, when you're all, involved in the honeymoon aspect of a relationship, to be the great white knight and, oh, I come from a rich country, I have a good job, I'll help out these poor people. And that's really easy to say. And it's a whole nother thing, though, when you're committed to doing it month after month after month. And you have some things. You want to buy your wife a diamond ring for Christmas. You should be able to do that if you have a good job. But you can't because it seems like all your extra money goes to her parents. You need a new car. You're thinking about sending your children to private school rather than public school. Whatever. All of these decisions that people make in life, you're going to have to use the you're going to have to say, can I afford it? Giving this amount of money to my in-laws to live on, can I afford to do these other things that I want to do? And I can imagine it gets old. I've talked to a lot of people in the situation, and there's a lot of relationships that have ended just because it's a constant source of irritation. So first, never give money for supporting a girlfriend's family. That's not your responsibility. Never give money to a girl unless you're living together or married. That's not, your responsibility. And I don't care what it is, because Thai women, some of them, and I'm not saying all of them, I have met Thai women and dated them for a period of time, and they never asked me for anything. And it was great. But I have had others that where you get the ATM, that white foreign men are ATMs, because they look at it that way. Every time you talk to them, there's something else they need, and only your money will help them with their problem. No, they survived until they met you. They'll be surviving after you go. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, you need to not look at it as what your new in-laws need. You have to look at it as what you can realistically afford to give them. And this includes your wife or wife to be. When you have this conversation, you it doesn't matter what they say. Oh, because you will hear some of the dumbest things. They've borrowed money from what amounts to a loan shark, and they have these high payments to make back. And they have made all kinds of bad decisions, and now they're expecting you to pay for that. So that's the first thing, is you sit down with your wife to be or wife, and you look at your finances, and you say, okay, realistically, this is how much we can afford each month over, your parents' lifetime to give them. And it's going to probably be lower than she's hoping for. It'll definitely be lower than your in-laws are hoping for, but it'll have to be a realistic number, because you have your own things. You have your own retirement to save for. You have your own children's college funds to fund. You're going to need a car once in a while and a vacation once in a while. And if you give away all of your free money to your in-laws, I guarantee you they'll spend it. Whatever you give them, like I said, you give them $100,000 a year, they'll spend it. They're not real savers. So that's the first thing, is you have to get grips on what what you can afford realistically. And if that isn't good enough for your wife or your wife's family, so be it. You're learning a big lesson right there. You're basically, you know, getting out of a really bad situation before it starts. Because if they're not happy with what you give them in the beginning, it's only going to get worse. Because I don't care how much you give them, there's going to be additional things come up. If they're that, and I don't mean to make it sound like all Thai people are like this. There's some that don't ask for anything. There's some that only ask when it's a true emergency. But there are a lot of them who have made Western men's lives just a living hell by asking for everything all the time. So the first thing is how much you can afford to spend. Now, what I do or would do if I had the opportunity, or whatever, I would never. My personal feeling is, with dating Thai women, there's no benefit to me getting married. Um, I'm risking my everything I have, or half of everything I have, and a whole lot of things for marriage. Which, what is marriage? I mean, I can live with somebody and be just as happy as married to them. I well, I'm not. I'm too old to have children, so there's nothing with the same last name or anything like that. So for me to get married, I would have to have like an aneurysm or something. I wouldn't do it. But if I did, okay, you have to protect yourself, and you have to realize people's natural tendency when it comes to free money. And that's what it is. You're giving away to them what is free money. They look at you as you come from this rich country, and all of us are rich over here, just sitting counting our money all day. And it's not fair, but they deserve your help. And so it's a hard situation. So no matter what you give them, it's not going to be enough. So you have to put some in reserve. But on the other hand, your wife to be, who's Thai, isn't going to like that. The number is going to seem small that you come up with and say, no, we can afford 5% of our income. And this is one thing too. It should also include her income, because it's ridiculous to think that she can keep her money, but you have to support her parents. And the next thing coming up is that's only half of what her parents get. We're talking fairness here. And if the custom of taking care of parents works for Thai people, it should also work for American people. So if you can afford to give, let's say, $10,000 a year away out of your budget of you and your wife's work, then 5,000 goes to your wife's family, 5,000 goes to your family. Now, you have control of that fund. You don't have to give it to your family. If your family is doing okay and they don't need your money, put it aside. Put it aside for your children. Put it aside for nice things for your wife and your family because you're going to need it. So, but that's the thing. It's like I constantly am amused at when I talk to people about their customs, their country's customs. It's like I love talking about that situation of I've had some ladies bring up, we've dated a while, and it's like, well, if we continue dating, how much are you going to give my parents? And it's like, if we're dating, I'm not gonna give them anything. I'll buy them a nice bottle of liquor and maybe dinner, but it's like I'm not going to be giving them a monthly, income because you and I are dating. I said if the day comes to where we live together or get married, whatever, then we can have a discussion about that. But when you start, it's like, oh, it's my custom. I have to take care of my parents. There's a lot of when people start talking about their country's customs, it's kind of like the pirate guy in the Pirates of the Caribbean. He said, well, they're really not rules, they're just more or less guidelines. And it's kind of like that because, when you bring up being fair, and it's like, okay, well, if I give your parents, this amount of money, then I have to give my parents that amount of money too. And it's going to come out of your money just as much as it's coming out of mine for both your parents and my parents. That's only fair. If we have to take care of our elders, then we have to take care of both sets of elders, not just yours. And that always goes over like a turd in the punch bowl. It's like, no, 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 you come from a country, a wealthy country. Your parents don't need it. Give my parents all of it. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of chicken shit. So with that, it's like, no, it's if we help out your parents and give them, $500 a month, then we're going to help out my parents. Now, on the other end of that, my parents are no longer here. So I would have that money to be flexible. I would help maybe my any of my nephews or anything that needed help, whatever. But that's something, and we probably should do it. It'd make us better people. But that's something that realistically has to happen. The second thing, okay. So first thing is you have to sit down with your wife to be and figure out how much money long term you can truly afford to give to your in-laws. Second thing is you need to see how much and see, not just have them tell you, but see how much each of the other brothers and sisters are giving to the parents for support. Because I have seen families that don't ask. There are 4 or 5 kids, and the white Western guy happened to get the oldest daughter, and they're having to give money every month to support the family, where none of the other kids are giving anything. And some of the other kids had good jobs to where they could have helped at least a little bit, but they didn't. They didn't ask them for anything. And I've seen so many things like that where there's a Filipino family to where every time the Farang or Western guy went with his girlfriend to any kind of get together, he had to, you know, greet each elder. And when he greeted them, he had to give money to them. And I mean, it was, like $20, $40, whatever. But it wasn't the amount of money, but no one else did that. Everyone else did the greeting, but didn't have any money in their hand. The Western guy was the only one that had to give any money. And that's crazy, with these rules and customs, they don't apply to everyone, just foreigners. And so that's one of the things. So secondly, okay, you need to see what the other family members are doing and giving. Understand? And if you've never had a lady friend or the girlfriend who is into the whole gimme thing. Okay, there's one of the videos they came out with. I called it the two-handed Thai gold digger pose. It's where they take out both hands and show you this because they want a lot of money. But it's just it really works on you to where you can feel so much for some of these ladies and you date them and they just it sucks all the love out of you because you get that feeling all and what's sad is you not only get the feeling that it's all about the money, you also get the feeling that it's never going to end because every time you turn around, there's another thing that needs your money to fix. And so many times that's the other thing that gets me when it comes to Thai people is not all Thai people, but some, especially the ones that ask for money all the time, is they go through and they ask for money all the time. And then when they tell you why they need it and really explain it, they're it's like just really dumb that they're in the situation that they needed. They basically made a bad choice and decided to go the week before and spend money they didn't have going and visiting their daughter for no particular reason. Just wanted to go visit. Not she was sick or there was an emergency of any kind. Just they wanted to do it, so they did it. They spent money they didn't have, and now they expect you to come up with the money they need for rent. And you'll be amazed how many things like that. And so it's you have to decide. Thai women can be some of the most loving and loyal partners that the world has ever seen. But if you can love someone so much, but if every time you turn around they're asking for more money, it just gets to be to where you don't care anymore. You just want it to stop because it's just always and every time you turn around it's more money, more money. So that's one of the things. And always when don't be hard-hearted, be understanding when you explain why that the amount you're giving them is, the amount that you can afford. Now, the other thing is that in everyone I've talked to, I try to get because you know that no one's going to be honest about this. No Western guy is going to say, "Oh God, I spend I give him $5,000 a month," and sound like a real just adult that's giving half his money away. And no one's going to be a Thai person saying, "Oh yeah, my husband gives this amount or that amount." And so I went around and I asked people, what is an average that people, the average man gives his wife's family to help them. And as close as I can come up with, um, it was $200 to $500 a month. And, I mean, it's probably less than I was thinking it'd be more than that when I hear all the stories from all the guys sitting at the bar about what they have to give to their wife's family. But um it's still when you think about it, even $500 a month at in the beginning it doesn't sound bad. It's like, well, yeah, it's their custom, you have to help them. But $500 a month, let me ask you this. 2 years into it, when the honeymoon stage is over in your wedding, and it's life is you know back to being normal, everything's settled down, you have to live your life, and your car is getting pretty worn out, okay, and you have to buy a new one. $500 would go a long ways to making a new car payment. And so you have to think about those things and think about if, you want them in, that situation and that responsibility in your life because it's difficult and it's hard to understand. Now the other thing is you have to um, you have to be really kind of hard when it comes to the boundaries because I have heard of people that when they go, the man takes off with a woman to go visit her parents, and they say, "Oh well, we'll go to dinner. So you don't have to worry about cooking. We'll go to dinner." And all of a sudden, when they get there, there's 30 other people standing around who expect to go to dinner with them. Okay, no one invited them, and it'd be nice for the couple just to catch up with their family. And I mean, I don't care about customs or whatever. When I'm paying for it, my customs are what should have some weight in this decision. Um, 'Cause I mean, it gets to where I've seen people to where they don't even hardly know the other person. They're not related in any way. They just live in the same village, and they heard that a white guy's taking everybody to dinner. So make sure your wife understands. Make sure your in-laws understand. I don't care if they say you're stingy and mean and everything else, and you shouldn't either. You should live your life the way you want to live it, being nice, being helpful, but at the same time, none of this crap of, being guilted into everything. And every time you turn around, there's another thing that they want help with. And every time you turn around, there's somebody else that wants to go to dinner with you guys. And it's it goes beyond that too, because it's when you see people that are very gracious. I'm not talking about all the Thai people. I'm not talking about all the Thai parents or anything else. But when you see people that are gracious and really feel a they feel very they have a sense of appreciation for what you do. They respect what you do, and they don't like, oh, free food, let's get steak. But there's you see a lot of that when you see the poor westerner that goes to visit the family, and all the family's there. What do people order when they sit down for dinner? It's not, hey, let's get rice and chicken. It's like, let's get a steak, let's get seafood. And you always hear, let's get seafood. And it's like, really? Someone else is paying for it. I was always thought to be gracious, and you order something that's reasonably priced because there's a lot of mouths to feed. You're not getting lobster for everyone, so that's something that you're going to have to live with and make sure that you're ready for, because it's a coming if you get married. So, good luck with that. Hey, Ma, Pim's coming to take us to dinner. I'm ready now. Oh, did I tell you? She's bringing her new Western boyfriend. Oh, wait a minute. Now we're ready. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe.